Hello, welcome back to Hunter Tuned. Today we're going to be working on an all-wheel drive Waggle van Honda Civic. I don't know exactly what year it is, but it's, EF chassis, and it has a turbo single cam in it that we actually just got done fixing a bunch of stuff on. This car was actually in the shop over there before, but now it is on the dyno. And we're going to start working some bugs out of this thing. We had to make the turbo parts and stuff that he brought along work. That's what we're going to do. We're just going to see what we can do on this cheap eBay turbo kit. It has like a smaller, I don't know exactly what size turbo it is, but
it's a 42 AR exhaust.
Yeah, it's a 48 AR exhaust housing, and it's like the same size as this one that we had, that he took off of it, but the one that was on here had some chipped up compressor fins. As you guys can see, they're pretty chewed up. So this is the turbo that came off of it, and just for comparison, we'll put it next to a 3071 for you guys, just to kind of show you the size difference between the two. This guy really wants to keep a fast spooling setup for this all-wheel drive car because, obviously if you want to go hooning, it's kind of nice to have something that spools fast. So that's what he's trying to keep, but I told him, considering it is mainly a winter vehicle and he likes to take it out and shred the gnar snow, I think a 3071 and an actual EF specific turbo manifold would work great on this thing. And a 3071 on a single cam really doesn't spool too bad. I mean, your car hit full boost around like what, 4,500?
Yeah, we synced it with VTEC, so
yep,
it was right
at VTEC.
Like, yeah, so it was really nice because it would spool.
It all come in at once, just
right.
Yeah. So, and with the snow, it's a lot easier to get RPM out of it when you're spinning in the snow doing donuts and stuff. So this is the size comparison between the two. The 3071 is physically larger, the one on the left here. This is the one I offer on huntertune.com. But the wheel is not a whole lot bigger than something like this. I would say this is like equivalent size, maybe a little bit bigger than like a 16G. This is probably like a 20G size-ish turbo. And then obviously the 3071, the smallest housing that we offer is a 63 AR, and they are in V-band, 3-inch V-band, which is a lot nicer than the choked up exhaust housings that come on these things, because it's like a 2 1/4, and then it comes out to 2 1/2. So I had an old 5-bolt to V-band converter laying around that we kind of just made work with his downpipe. And the way this manifold is on this car, it is only possible to run the turbo this way, otherwise the downpipe would not clear the radiator. So we had to run it this way, and then the intercooler piping was also a challenge to get to work on this thing. It came in with the crazy looking bend coming out of the intercooler here. And we had to finagle some things and actually cut it and reposition where the pipe actually goes into the turbo. And the outlet size on this turbo is actually smaller than the one on there, so we had to change a coupling around on the turbo side. So we did that, and then we fixed all this, and then this side was actually rubbing on the, this pipe was actually like rubbing against the fender well in the fuse box here. So we had to reposition this pipe, and then it also came in the blow-off valve was very loose and not sealing, so we fixed that. There's a bunch of set screws around this thing. We got all new set screws in it, resealed the O-ring, and put a little RTV around the blow-off valve so that doesn't leak anymore. But all of this piping stuff is a super tight fit, and it doesn't really fit the greatest, but it does fit nonetheless. So yeah, anyways, this is a Viterra build, or not a Viterra build. This actually has a forged bottom end. I think it has eagle rods and like a 9-to-1 forged piston. And then the head, I believe, is stock. It has a stock cam, I know that. I don't know if it has valve springs or anything. And then it has Skunk 2 Pro Series intake manifold, Hunter Tune decapped normal style truck injectors, and a Wally 255 in the tank, I believe. 38 mil eBay gate. And then this manifold is kind of, hopefully doesn't give us issues, but this manifold only vents the one runner exhaust. So it's mainly a lot bigger of an issue when you have a little bit larger turbo on something like this, because the exhaust gas cannot escape the wastegate efficiently, which will cause the boost to not be steady, and it will not, sometimes they creep, and sometimes you just can't get boost out of them, and yeah. So we're gonna try to see if we can make it work, and just make this thing rip. So it is an all-wheel drive car. We did pull the drive shaft off of the transfer case, and it's just zip tied up, and it's running in front wheel drive mode right now. And we're just gonna get a baseline on this thing and see where it's at. We're not gonna touch anything. We're just gonna see exactly how this car came in. And I street tuned this car a couple years ago. There's actually a video on the channel, and it's on low boost and pump gas right now. And we're just gonna try to run the gas out of this thing, and then we probably will switch it to E85 and turn the boost up and hopefully make some good power. But we're gonna see where it's at right now and see what we can do.
Don't mind the top one. 161, 179. Not too bad.
What?
161, 179. Yeah, not bad.
Not bad. That torque though. Look how fast that thing spools up.
Right.
Look at how fast it dies off.
Right.
Yeah, that's small turbo life. All right, guys, so we've been playing on the dyno a little bit with this all-wheel drive wagon, and we are starting to have a few issues. He actually was complaining when he dropped it off that the car started acting weird and got hot a couple times. So we actually were just on the dyno, and the car started to creep up on the temperature. So I was just checking things over, made sure that the fan control on the computer was going, and the fan was not coming on at all. So realistically, it is pretty cold out tonight, and we have the dyno fan running. It really shouldn't be getting hot, even if that fan is not working. But nonetheless, we're gonna get the fan working and try again and see if the temps can get under control. Currently, when the car came in, it did not have the ground for the fan hooked up. So we hooked up the ground, and it has a wire running into the car under the glove box area and running over towards the driver's side, probably to a switch or something. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut the wire, the power wire, and I'm going to run it into the actual fan control in the ECU, so he doesn't have to worry about the fan coming on. The ECU will control it for him. So that's what we're gonna do next. I'm just gonna run the power wire into the fan switch wire, and then I am retuning this car on Honda Tuning Suite as well. So we have the ostrich plugged into the ECU, and we just did a couple, tweaks to get it to start and drive on the HTS. And now we are gonna hook up that fan wire, try it again, and see if the temps are under control.
Working some of the bugs out right now. Getting her all retuned on HTS.
Overheating. I had that set up. So if it got hot, it would fucking start doing that.
That's why I just went and looked, and we were barely up. So.
Alright, so that's the whole fucking hose. This one's
Let's check out.
sort of one. This one's sort of one. Overflow. No, not really. I mean, a little bit, but not really. It's not geysering, so I don't think it's head gasket.
Right.
And that's going red to the top.
Red to top?
Yep. I'm checking to see if the coolant temp sensor wiring is right, and it seems like it is. But the gauge in the car was showing below half, but I had a protection set up on the HTS to come in and limit my RPM to 3,000 if it got over 210 degrees. And it started doing that.
Right.
And Hondas don't ever go over to 200, really.
Right.
Like maybe 200, 205. Like if they're running good, they sit at like 190, 185. Right. So for it to be running 210, has got to either be a coolant temp sensor issue, which I feel like it is because the car, I don't know. All right, so we did some more dynoing on the Civic here, and we are still getting some overheating issues. I don't know why this car is overheating. It doesn't seem to be a head gasket issue because the car is completely topped off with coolant and bled. And we also have nothing coming into the overflow until it gets hot. So like in boost and stuff, it's not pushing water or coolant into the overflow. Usually that's a good indicator that the head gasket is failing. Also, the top hose on the water neck up here is verified that the temperature is getting hot with a laser thermometer. That's what we just checked. So the coolant temp sensor must be reading accurately. I have a protection set up now on HTS where it will limit the RPM to 3,000 if it gets above 210 degrees, which this thing should never see above 205 really. So like I said, most Hondas when we tune them, they chill right at like 180 to 195 degrees, and they don't usually vary from there. I did wire the fan to the ECU. I just ran to the stock fan plug and have the computer controlling the fan coming on and off instead of it going to a switch or whatever. So that is wired properly. The fan is working and the dyno fan was running, and it's like 15 freaking degrees out. So it's definitely cold out tonight. So I mean, I don't think it's an airflow issue. I do think it's something else. I don't think it's thermostat because the bottom hose is getting warm. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure, but we do have to fix this overheating issue before we can really continue tuning on it. There's really no sense in, beating on the car and stuff like that if it's just going to get hot. So we did end up making like 170 horsepower with it on wastegate pressure. So we're trying to iron out this overheating issue and then try again tomorrow with some E85 and hopefully a fixed, overheating issue. At least we got the thing on HTS. We got everything set up. Timing is synced and the tune is pretty close. Got to work out a couple bugs yet, but it's so weird. I'm not used to Hondas overheating. Like normally they don't ever overheat. No. Unless you are beating on it, the thing runs out of coolant because it pushed all of it into the overflow. Then I see them overheat. Or if the fan isn't coming on, I see them overheat. The gauge inside the car was below half, and the ECU was reading above 210 degrees. So something's not right. We'll have to figure it out and come back strong tomorrow. All right, so it's the next day, guys, and we actually ended up fixing the overheating issue on the single cam. And I just wanted to let you know that it was actually the thermostat that was bad. So we did replace the thermostat in this car, and now the cooling fan is actually kicking on and off like it's supposed to. And because before the cooling fan would come on and it would just kind of constantly stay on until the car got hot, and then it would start boiling and putting into the thermostat or the overflow. And the lower hose was warm, but it wasn't as hot as the top hose. So I did know that something was up with the thermostat. So we did replace it, and all is good now. We actually bled the system properly and did everything. And now the car's good. So the next video is gonna be us doing the E85 conversion and tuning it to its max potential on this turbo. So that's what we're gonna be doing in the next video. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I've been staying busy the last day doing ECU stuff. So if you guys do need ECU services, please hit me up, as well as you know, injectors and all that stuff is on my website. But I do have everything in stock for VTEC conversions on every Honda OBD1 ECU. I have chipping kits in stock. I have Boost by Gear kits in stock, and I also have a couple ECUs that I can sell. So all that stuff's on the website, guys. If you haven't checked it out, huntertune.com. If you need any tuning stuff, any ECUs, any chipping services, please feel free to email me in. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and have a great night and a better tomorrow. We'll see you later.